Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Badass Podcast. I'm your host, Sasha Davis, and today I want to talk about nothing changes if nothing changes. Coming to you from my kitchen table. So yesterday, me and my husband are on our way to town. We always end up grocery shopping on Sundays, which... just a little hint, do not shop on Sundays for groceries because they have the worst produce selection on Sundays. I don't know why we continue to do this. I guess Sunday is like my prep day, so maybe I need to start grocery shopping on Friday or Saturday because the last couple times we went, the selection is limited to say the least. I ended up with some good, bags of spinach, a couple bananas, and some oranges for produce because everything else was just not looking good. But as we were on our way to town, sometimes I get caught in deep thought. As you guys know, I think a lot all day long to myself, which is why I recommend doing the brain dumps that I talk about so often, which is where you write all of your thoughts down on a piece of paper, set a timer for like 5 to 10 minutes and organize your thoughts. Guys, brain dumps have been amazing for me to get clarity that I need and be able to organize my whole life. So I'm in the car and I'm driving and I'm just like in deep thought, right? And so my thoughts range somewhere from how can I reach more people to, I got to get back to that person to, I wonder why people are so scared all the time. And so my husband was like, what are you thinking about? He always catches me when I'm in deep thought because he'll like try to talk to me and I am like such in deep thought that he'll have to be like, Sasha. I'm like, what? He's like, what are you thinking about? And so I said, nothing. And he's like, no, tell me. And I was like, I don't know if you can keep up with this one. This one's kind of out there, but I feel like it affects a lot of people. Everybody I talk to, I believe that this affects in some way. And I say, I'm just wondering why people are so scared to live the way they want to live, but they're scared to. And what I said was exactly, okay, so see if you can keep up with me on here. We live our lives based on what we think others think how we should be living our lives, right? So basically our whole lives are lived based on a perception of what we think other people think we should be living. It's a lot of thinking if you think about it. And so I said, God, no wonder people are so worried all the time. No wonder people are so anxious and exhausted and all of these things all the time because we spend entirely too much precious time worrying about what other people think we should be doing. When really, if we just focus that time on what we really want in life, think how much things you would have right now. Think of the possibilities that you would have in front of you, the opportunities. Think how much free mental space you would have to think of more happy thoughts if you weren't so concerned about what other people think. And it's funny because if you were to ask that person, they probably give, chances are if that person's even real, because a lot of times we make up these scenarios in our head that would never happen in a million years. But then there's always that one person that we think about that keeps us small. Maybe you have more than one, but I have one in particular that I'm always like, what is this person going to say to me? What is going to happen now? What are they, because every time I up level, I don't know if you can hear my dog moaning and groaning in the back, but every time I up level my circle or my business or my health or whatever it is that I'm working on, once I, climb that next rung of the ladder, I piss somebody off. It's guaranteed. I piss somebody off every single time. And I think that that's why I was so scared to climb the ladder in the beginning. My ladder, not this corporate ladder, not this other ladder that everybody else, not everybody else's ladder, my ladder, Sasha's ladder, the ladder that I want to be climbing. And I was always scared to take the first step because somebody else was like, well, why aren't you climbing this ladder? Why aren't you climbing that ladder? Why aren't you doing this? And I was like, I guess I can. I guess I can. If that's what you want me to do, I guess that's what I have to do. And that's so stupid. I literally lived majority of my life based on other people's expectations and goals for me, not my own. And no wonder I was so anxious and depressed and fucking drank all the time. I was miserable. I was checking all the boxes that I needed to check, but they weren't my boxes. None of those things were my boxes, except for maybe, a husband. Well, more recently, they've been my boxes. But a lot of my job stuff and the stuff that I did for other people wasn't my boxes. Those weren't the things that I wanted to be doing, but I did them anyways. And then I wondered why I was so angry all the time. It's because I never made time for myself. I was living my life based on what everybody else wanted from me. And I was too scared to just take a step back and be like, I don't want that ladder anymore. I want to go climb my own ladder. I was too scared until a few years ago when I had a daughter. And I know I talk to you guys about this a lot, but I'm telling you, this changed my life forever, obviously. But for more than just like physical and like that I have a child for the rest of my life. Like, she changed the way I view the world. And I wanted to become her hero. I wanted her to be like, well, if my mom can do anything, I can do anything. I didn't want her to say, well, my mom was scared to do this, or my mom was scared to do that, or I have to do the social norm because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be this sheep in a herd of sheep and blah, blah, blah. Fuck no. And I've always been strong-willed, very strong-willed. I've always been a potty mouth too. Cuss like a sailor, no shame. Except for I used to have shame in that. I was scared to drop an F-bomb before because who knows why. Now I give no shits. If you don't like it, shut it off. You're in the wrong place. And I thought to myself, I cannot be scared anymore. I can't be scared anymore because then I am teaching my daughter to be scared. And if you think about it, let's go back to thinking more. Everything we do in life is a learned behavior. Everything. The way that you wake up in the morning, is learned behavior. The way that you, shower and brush your teeth and wash your dishes and prep your food and talk to people in manners and parenting and their career choices, like everything you do, think about it. Look at your parents and then look at their parents. And if you ever wonder why your parents are a certain way, look at how their parents treated them. I guarantee you what they do is just a learned behavior or a learned reaction from how they were parented or how they were brought up. Same for you. A lot of women that I talk to have mothers that were like very passive aggressive or very like quiet and kind of like went with the flow, didn't want to like upset anybody. And I know that part of that has to do with the time, the era that they were in, right? But there's a new era. And are you going to fall back into the habits that your mother had, which a lot of us do. A lot of us stay safe and are scared to, kind of rock the boat for fear of what would happen or fear that the light will be shined in our direction. And, oh, shit, what are we going to do when we're naked on stage alone? What are you going to do? And that's how I feel right now. I feel like I'm just naked on stage half the time, but I can't be scared. And so my whole life has changed. My whole perception has changed. And I no longer live my life based on what I think others expect of me. I have very precious time, very limited precious time on this earth. And I have a daughter who I want to be the absolute best role model that I can be. And so I want to focus my energy on becoming better, not worrying about what others think of me. I want to focus my energy on up-leveling my life, bringing more time and more energy, more positive vibes, more teaching my daughter ways to be brave and to go after the things that she wants to do. You guys, like, even like yesterday, my husband was sitting there and he's like, gosh, she's just fearless, isn't she? And I almost cried. I was like, you know where she gets that from? It's from us. It's from me. It's from him, because we're out there doing the things that we want to do. And she sees that, you guys. Like just this morning, I'm mopping the floors. I'm cleaning the house, and we're singing, and we were listening to Christmas music. And don't hate, because Mariah Carey and Elvis are my favorite this time of year, and you're not going to change my mind. And so I have one of those like Rubbermaid, I don't know, swivel mop things where you use your foot to like press it down and wring it out. And so I'm like stepping it down to wring out the mop. And she is sitting right next to me doing the same damn thing. Monkey see, monkey do. She ended up getting her own little mop and mopping the floor with me. And then after that, we worked out. We exercised. I said, hey, Oakland, it's time to work out. Let's go in the other room and let's work out. So what does she do? She takes off her little boots and we go in there because we work out barefoot. And I'm sure if you guys follow me on Instagram, you've seen her when she's here working out with me. She goes and she does these little jumping jacks and these little, she'll sit on my chest and she'll try and do, she'll do my ab exercise. Like monkey see, monkey do. So if your children see you or those around you, whether you are, a mother or not, whether you're, you have family in your life, you are a role model to somebody. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you just are really close with certain friends and family. But no matter where you're at in your life, you are a role model and people see what you're doing. Okay. So just remember that. Are you being a good role model? Are you being the hero in your community, in your family? And that's all I want. I am no longer living my life or wasting any more time or energy worrying about what others think about what I'm doing. I'm staying in my own lane. I'm doing what's good for me. Yes, there's still fear. There's still fear all the time, you guys, but I just choose to recognize it and move on. I just say, all right, fear, I see you over there trying to keep me safe again. I don't like it. But what's more uncomfortable is staying the same. And that's kind of what I decided a couple years ago. I said, gosh, I would really hate to be having the same conversation with myself a year from now. I would rather have new problems, different problems, good problems. Not the same problem day in and day out, because that's when you get depressed and you're like, God, nothing changes if nothing changes. And when you get to that point that you are more uncomfortable with staying the same than changing, hire a coach, ask for help. Go out there and just start doing things that scare you. Where you're like, oh, I could ask for this sale, but that's really scary. Or, oh, I could go to the gym and do this, but that's kind of scary. Or, oh, I could go shop at the grocery store for actual, real food, but I don't really know what I'm doing, so that's scary. Lean into that. Do the things that are scary. And over time, they will become less and less scary. It's just like, let's say you were to go bungee jumping. And you've never done it before, never, ever, ever. And you're like, oh my God, that looks like so much fun, but I'm so scared to do it. And so you're like, oh, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? And you're like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then you get to the top and you're like, should I do it? I don't know if I want to do it. And you're like overthinking and you're like panicking. You're like, oh, fuck, but I really want to do it. Everybody else is jumping and they look so happy at the other side. So should I do it? Or should I stay here on the edge and be safe? And then you're like, you get a moment of courage. And you're like, I'm going to do it. And you jump. And it is like freedom all the way down. And you are just like, I can't believe I did this. You're being whipped around and all that good stuff. And then you come to the end and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. That was exhilarating. That was tons of fun. You go back up to the top and you jump twice as fast. You go back up to the top, you jump even quicker. And you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Before you know it, doing scary things becomes easy. It becomes fun. And you're like, ooh, how can I get this adrenaline rush? How can I get that same feeling of a little bit of fear, but in a good way? And it's almost to the point like where you start to, well, for me, I have a very addictive personality. So it's almost like I crave it. And I'm like, ooh, things have been staying the same for too long. What next big scary step can I do? Either in my business, in my health, in my family, in my community, in my circle. And that's what I do. I'm like, ooh, I'm getting complacent. Things are staying the same. I don't like it. I need change. I need to mix things up a bit. And sometimes I'm too much for people, and that's okay. There are certain things that I stay consistent, though. For example, well, you guys have been following me a while. My morning routine doesn't really change. That just sets my whole day up for success. If I take that time for myself in the morning, it is crucial, you guys. I do a little bit of meditation. I do a lot of journaling. I do some affirmations. I do a little bit of reading. I do some exercise. I drink a shake. I drink my water. I usually drink at least 20 ounces of water in the morning, like as soon as I get up. And then I go on into doing a little bit of business stuff. And then I do like 20 minutes of cleaning. There's just a certain thing that I do every single day. And it just makes me feel accomplished throughout the day. And so I bring that sense of accomplishment and motivation throughout my entire day by setting my morning up for success. And then, like my meals don't change a whole lot. I'm not really a foodie. I mean, I love food, but I don't like to put a whole lot of thought into what I eat. I just like to fuel my body and do things that I know that are good for me. So my meals don't change up a whole lot, which may sound boring to some, but it just frees up that mental space for me to focus on other things. So a lot of those things don't change. But if I feel like I'm getting complacent in my business, or if I feel like I haven't really pushed myself outside my comfort zone, I will find things to push myself outside my comfort zone, because I want to be constantly changing and constantly growing. And I want to show my family, my husband, my daughter, and everybody that's closest to me that they can do hard things too, and that it's not going to kill you. It just makes you better, makes you stronger. And then, believe it or not, once that person does something, it inspires somebody else. It's this ripple effect. So by you working on you and doing the things that scare you, that challenge you, you are in fact inspiring those closest to you to do the same exact thing. Okay, whether it's a good or a bad. If you decide to stay safe, stay small, you're still showing others that it's okay to stay safe and stay small. You're like, well, building your business really isn't that important, I guess. I could always just go back to working a 9 to 5 and blah, blah, blah. And so then that's what you're telling everybody else. It's okay to not chase your dreams. Like, it's okay to give up once in a while. Or like, for your health. Like, if you're like, oh, I'm going to work out, and then I fall off the bandwagon. Well, you're teaching everybody else that your health isn't that important and that you don't take your health that seriously. Boom. How does that feel? Probably not very good. So when you keep working on you in fact are inspiring others to do the same. So my takeaway for you today is worry less about what you think others think about you. Just stop it. Every time you catch yourself, say, oh, that person doesn't give a shit. I got to focus on me. Stay in my own lane. What can I do? How else can I focus my energy? Go meditate for a couple minutes. Go take a few minutes, take some deep breaths. Go listen to an inspirational podcast. There is tons of them out there. There's tons of audiobooks. There's tons of YouTube videos. There's all kinds of things to help you get your mind right. And my last thing for you is nothing changes if nothing changes. Let that sink in. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Happy freaking Monday. Take this energy with you throughout your day, throughout your week. Sit in those deep thoughts like I do. See where it gets you. Dream big, like you only get one life. I heard once that on a quote, it says, your life begins when you realize you only have one. So make that day today. All right, guys, talk to you later.